So let me stop you right there, because if you think your Social Security check is locked in the moment you start collecting, you've been misled. And honestly, that's one of the most expensive misconceptions in retirement. The truth is, there are multiple ways to actually increase your benefit, even after you've already started receiving it. Some of these strategies are sitting right on the Social Security Administration's own website, but almost nobody talks about them plainly. So that's what we're doing today. Let's start with the one that happens automatically, whether you know about it or not. It's called COLA, the Cost of Living Adjustment. Every year, the SSA looks at inflation using something called the CPIW, and if prices went up, your check goes up too. In 2025, that increase was 2.5%. That might not sound like much on its own, but here's the thing. It's compounding. Each COLA is applied to your already adjusted benefit, so over 10, 15, 20 years of retirement, those increases stack up significantly. The 2026 COLA is coming in at 2.8%. You don't have to do anything to get this, but knowing it exists means you should never just look at your starting benefit as your forever benefit. Now here's where most people leave serious money on the table. If you're already collecting Social Security but you're still working, your benefit can actually go up. And this surprises a lot of people. Here's how it works. Social Security calculates your benefit based on your 35 highest earning years, adjusted for inflation. Every single year, they automatically run that calculation again. So if you're still working and this year's income is higher than one of your original 35 years, it bumps out that lower year and replaces it with the higher one. That raises your average. That raises your benefit. The SSA recalculates this annually and adjusts your payments, usually by the following year. So if you're in your 60s, still putting in good working years, don't just assume your check is frozen. It can quietly grow in the background without you lifting a finger beyond just doing your job. Now, before we go further, if you're collecting before your full retirement age and you're still working, you need to know about the earnings test. In 2026, if you earn more than $24,480 a year and you're below full retirement age, Social Security will hold back $1 for every $2 you earn above that limit. That sounds scary, but here's what most people don't know. That money isn't gone. The SSA credits you for the withheld months and recalculates your benefit upward once you hit full retirement age. So even if they take some back now, you get it returned to you in the form of a permanently higher monthly check later. Once you hit full retirement age, by the way, that earnings test completely disappears. You can earn unlimited income without it affecting your benefit at all. This is where it gets really interesting, and honestly, this is the strategy that almost nobody uses because it sounds too good to be true. It's called voluntary suspension. Here's the deal. If you've already reached your full retirement age, which is somewhere between 66 and 67, depending on when you were born, but you haven't hit 70 yet, you can actually call Social Security and ask them to pause your benefits. No repayment, no penalty. You just stop getting the check for a while. And for every single month that your benefits are suspended, your future check grows by about 2/3%, which works out to 8% per year. That's a guaranteed 8% return with zero market risk. If you suspend from 67 to 70, you lock in a 24% permanent increase to your monthly check for the rest of your life. And if you live into your 80s or 90s, the math becomes incredibly powerful. You restart simply by calling SSA or walking into a local office. And if you don't restart it yourself, it automatically turns back on at age 70. Now there's also a different move that works if you claimed early, and I mean within the first 12 months, and you're having regret about it. It's called the withdrawal strategy. You fill out Form SSA 521, pay back every dollar you received, and it's like the claim never happened. Your record resets. Then you can refile later at a higher age and lock in a significantly higher monthly benefit. This one has a strict 12-month window from the time you first claimed, so it's not for everyone. But if you're in that window and you started too early, this is worth considering seriously. Most people also don't realize that delayed retirement credits aren't just for people who never claimed. If you're currently receiving benefits and you haven't hit 70, you can still use voluntary suspension, which we already covered, to earn those credits. The SSA literally has this on their website. You earn 8% per year for every year you delay past your full retirement age up to age 70. After 70, the credits stop accumulating, so there's no benefit to waiting beyond that. But between your FRA and 70, every month counts. Now let's talk about something completely separate. Benefits that you might be entitled to that have nothing to do with your own work record. If you're married, or were married for at least 10 years, or you're a widow or widower, there are benefits available to you that a lot of people just don't claim. A spouse can receive up to 50% of their partner's full retirement age benefit amount. If that's higher than what they'd get on their own record, they can claim on the spouse's record instead. And if you're divorced but your marriage lasted 10 years or more, you can still do this off your ex-spouse's record, without them even knowing. It has zero effect on their benefit. For survivors, and this one is critically important, a widow or widower can receive up to 100% of what the deceased spouse was collecting or was entitled to collect. Here's the strategic part. If you're a surviving spouse and you're also entitled to your own benefit, you don't have to take them both at once. You can take one early and let the other one grow. For example, you could claim your own benefit first and let the survivor benefit rack up delayed credits, then switch to the higher survivor benefit later. Or reverse it. Take the survivor benefit first if it's higher right now, and let your own record grow until 70. That switch strategy is legal, it works, and it can mean thousands of extra dollars over your lifetime. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Social Security Administration calculates your benefits using your highest 35 years of earnings. If you don't have a full 35 years of work on record, they don't just skip those missing years. They actually fill them in with zeros. And even if you do have 35 years, any years where you earn very little still count and pull your overall average down. Since your monthly check is based on that average, those low or zero income years can quietly reduce your benefit more than people expect, and most don't even know it's happening. This is where a simple but powerful strategy comes in. If you go back to work, even part-time, and earn more than you did in one of those low or zero years, that new income can replace the weaker year in your record. You're not adding extra years on top, you're upgrading your worst ones. And because the system automatically recalculates your earnings each year, this can lead to a noticeable increase in your monthly benefit over time. Even modest income can make a difference if it replaces a zero, which is why this is one of those small moves that can have a bigger long-term payoff than people expect. So when you really step back and look at the full picture, your Social Security check is not something that's permanently locked the moment you start receiving it. There are multiple built-in ways it can grow over time, and a lot of them happen either automatically or with simple actions most people overlook. For example, cost of living adjustments, commonly known as COLA, are applied every year to help your benefits keep up with inflation, even though they may not always feel like enough. On top of that, if you continue working while collecting benefits, your earnings can actually replace lower earning years in your record, which may trigger a recalculation and increase your monthly payment without you needing to file anything extra. And then there's the strategy of suspending your benefits after reaching full retirement age, which allows your check to grow by about 8% per year until age 70, effectively rewarding you for delaying. Even situations where you claim too early aren't always permanent. There are options like withdrawing and refiling under certain conditions that can reset your benefit. Beyond that, many people don't realize they may qualify for additional benefits, like spousal, divorce spousal, or survivor benefits, which can significantly increase total income regardless of their own work history. At the end of the day, the biggest difference comes down to awareness and strategy. The people who get the highest Social Security payments are usually not doing anything magical. They simply understand how the system works and take advantage of the flexibility it offers. Instead of assuming their benefit is fixed, they look for opportunities to improve it, whether that's by timing when they claim, continuing to work strategically, or exploring additional benefits they may be entitled to. Most people leave money on the table simply because they don't know these options exist, or they assume it's too late to make changes. But once you understand that Social Security is more dynamic than it seems, you start to see that small decisions can have a lasting impact on your income over time. Now that you're aware of these strategies, the key is to actually use them to your advantage instead of settling for less than what you could receive.